If you're planning to do any travel internationally for work, pleasure, or perhaps a conference, there's a few things you need to do prior to traveling to ensure that you're able to successfully access your NBCC IT account information such as your email, Brightspace, and Microsoft Teams, just to name a few. So the first thing we're going to do is just go to NBCC.ca and we're going to go check the International Travel Checklist. So for faculty and staff, we've put together a checklist of items. So you can find that checklist by just clicking on the NBCC at Work staff login link on the NBCC website. And once you're brought into the NBCC at Work page, we're just going to go under the Tools section. And the very last item here is the IT FAQ and How To. So if we click on that, we can scroll down here. And on page 3, right here, you're going to see there's an item here titled International Travel Checklist. So if I click on the International Travel Checklist right here, there's going to be a link to a PDF document. So if I click on that link, it's going to open up the travel checklist right here. And so the very first thing you need to do is go and submit a service desk ticket to the Account and Access Management team so you can have that proper access outside of US and Canada. So I'll show you exactly how you can do that. So if we go back to the NBCC service desk, so that's just at servicedesk.nbcc.ca. Once we're logged in, we're going to press the Request a Service button. And once we do that, we can select the very first item on the page here, Account and Access Management. And then the very first item here is Access outside US or Canada. So if I select that, I'm going to put in my planned departure date. Now we do recommend when you fill this form out that you give the team a couple weeks notice before you're traveling. So ideally 2 weeks prior to your travel. So we put the planned departure date, the planned return date back in Canada in this box right here, the country that we're traveling to right here. Now it's important to note there's a couple of countries that are blacklisted from accessing NBCC IT services. So China and Russia, you will not be able to access your NBCC IT services. If you require roaming data and services on your NBCC mobile phone while you're traveling, you'll check off the box there. If you require VPN access during your travel, you'll check off the box right there. And then it's just a matter of pressing Place Request, and then somebody on our team will be reaching out to you as soon as possible to give you additional details. And so if we go back to the checklist here, so the first item on here we've just looked at. So we've gone through and submitted the ticket to the service desk to let them know. If you have a cell phone, you'll need to make arrangements for use. So this item is also handled in this one above right here, but we do recommend checking out, there's a link right here. So if I click on the international roaming packages, if I click on that right here, it's going to give me additional information under the telephone services here. So if I scroll down, all of the information will be right here in these documents, so feel free to check those out. And so if we go back to the checklist, just a couple other items here. You want to consider the power source of the country that you're traveling to, as you may be required to purchase an adapter to charge your device or phone. So one thing that's important to note is that NBCC IT does not provide international power adapters, so you'll need to purchase those on your own. And so if you click on the link right here, it'll bring you to a site that will show you all the power plugs and sockets of the world and the proper adapters that you will need. And so if we go back to the checklist, the other thing you want to keep in mind is you want to make sure that you have a secondary form of multi-factor authentication set up for your account. So if, for example, you're receiving a text code as your primary MFA, which we don't recommend, but if you are, there may be some issues getting that code when traveling internationally. So we highly recommend that you set up a backup source, and our recommendation is the Win OTP Manager. So if you click on the link right here, you'll be able to access the information on how to set up a secondary MFA for the Win OTP on your NBCC laptop. Otherwise, there's a few other options. So if we go back to the IT FAQ and How To site right here, and again, this is just found on the NBCC at Work under Tools and IT FAQ and How To. There's going to be a section for multi-factor authentication or MFA right here. So if I click on that, going to give me a variety of options here that I can use as my primary or backup MFA. And then last but not least, we do recommend that you review the travel resources on the Employee Risk Management site. And those are available to link here. And so if I click on that right here, it's going to bring you up all of the travel documentation here, all the tips and security protocols, and all of the information that you would need from an enterprise risk management perspective. So this concludes the video on the International Travel Checklist at NBCC.